you. Today, I have a very important guest in the studio, John Goddard, CFO, Chief Financial Officer at 4xCube. John, big welcome. How are you?
Welcome. Thank you.
And
Pleasure.
thank you so much for accepting the challenge, because usually you don't see many CFOs, many CEOs, many CTOs going public and presenting their company. So thank you so much for doing that.
No, that's why we want to show off the transparency of the people behind the business. So yeah, this is a pleasure.
First and foremost, I want to introduce you to the audience. Guys, by the way, if you have questions, if you want to clarify anything in regards to trading ForexCube, now is the time to do it. Don't be shy, type your questions. We will take some questions towards the end of the webinar. So back to John, the Chief Financial Officer at ForexCube. When did you get involved in the financial markets, John? How did it all start for you?
My background is in financial planning within the corporate industry, so that's been about 20 years back in the 2000s. But my actual introduction into the financial markets and actual investment was the beginning of 2010. So that moved me into the personal space of financial planning for clients. There's not much difference between corporate and individuals. It's all about meeting the goals, what are the objections, how much cash. So my area has always been about the financial planning. And very recently, last 3 years has been into the FX industry and how we can bring those skills I've had in the past into that area.
I'm with you. And how difficult was it for you switching from financial planning to Forex?
Yeah, I mean,
because it's the same game. We're talking money, we're talking numbers.
It is all about money, it is all about returns, it's about the planning, but it wasn't too difficult, but it was a very steep learning curve. And when I say a steep learning curve, it was about the fast pace. I mean, you look at traditional investments and pensions and lump sum, it's a long-term goal. So the FX industry, it's now, it's on the pulse. You're making decisions. It's not about long term. It's in that moment and making those decisions. So
it is exciting.
It is exciting, very exciting.
Because I know financial planning requires years and years of waiting. You're balancing your portfolios with bonds, and we know bonds are moving over a very long period.
And again, in form of any balanced portfolio, I mean, this represents part of your portfolio. So there's the exciting and the sexy part of the investments, and then you've got your normal long-term type investments. This is the exciting bit.
All right. What do you think about the global situation as it stands right now? I mean, should we just scrap 2020? Is it a bad year, or how do you see it as a finance person?
Oh, I mean, we are in unprecedented times. I mean, businesses, all industries are making changes right now. Do we need to do this? Do we do that? But you look at any adversity that's going on, and there's opportunity. So there's opportunity for us as a business. There's opportunity for clients. If managed in the correct ways and you take the right approach, then now is a time for opportunity.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great volatility. Right. How did the global situation affect the Forex firms? Did you notice any change? How was this year for a Forex company?
I have to say, looking at it from a COVID point of view, in the last 2-3 months, we've had a massive increase in business. Registrations are up, deposits are up, not just because of the education that we provide, and a part of our business model is about that, but stocks and shares, people's investment in stocks and shares has changed. They're seeing the downturn in the market. They're looking for alternative ways to invest. They're exploring. The website has more options now for people to explore. So the FX industry I've seen is actually seeing a big increase.
Yeah, well, it kind of makes sense, because people were forced to stay home for a few months, and then they were looking for ways of making up for the lost time and the lost money.
I mean, everybody's now gone, everybody's been working from home, and some people have been working home for like 14, 16 weeks now. It's a great opportunity to capture people and
learn something new eventually. Yep. Yes, correct.
Absolutely.
Correct. Right, now let's talk about compliance, because not many traders, not many clients know what happens behind the scenes, how difficult it is to run a financial firm. Yeah. What does compliance mean for a financial firm? How important is it?
Well, compliance is a twofold kind of area. You've got the regulatory kind that is not forced upon, but the requirement of when you're dealing with regulatory bodies. It's also the second part of that is about fraud prevention. So everybody sees compliance as, oh no, I've got to do this because it's anti-money laundering, it's against terrorism. Part of it is about fraud. We're protecting the client to make sure that somebody else isn't using your details and using your data. You know, and that's also an important part of compliance.
So compliance is the core of any.
It's a regulatory part of the business. Now, it's not just we see it as a Monday and we have to do it because of regulatory, but it's a fraud prevention side of things as well. It's protecting the clients in essence as well.
I understand. How important is the jurisdiction, though? I mean, we have many jurisdictions around the world. We have many regulatory bodies.
Yeah.
What is the difference between jurisdictions? What would you say is the difference?
I think everybody looks at regulatory and look at jurisdictions. You know, the most things that people see is an onshore and an offshore jurisdiction. Well, what defines an onshore and an offshore jurisdiction? Well, technically, if you're investing from Europe, or you're in Brazil, or you're in Spain, and you're investing in an investment company that's in a different country, well, technically, you're investing in an offshore company. So there's a lot of misconception about what is onshore and offshore, but effectively, it's about the regulation that protects the client, and certain offshore jurisdictions don't allow those protections to the client. And we know what some of those certain areas are.
Yes, definitely. We have a lot of blacklisted.
It's the mandate. Yes, you can have a regulatory body in, say, Vanuatu, that actually the mandate set by that country is written on 4 pages. It doesn't actually give you a lot of protection as a client. So yes, you could be a regulated company in Vanuatu and not actually give you that much protection.
Yeah, I don't want to go there because I know Vanuatu
is a controversial.
Exactly, it's a blacklisted jurisdiction. But anyway, so 4xCube is registered in Cook Islands, right?
Yeah.
What is the difference?
Well,
or why Cook Islands out of so many offshore jurisdictions? Yeah, because we just mentioned Vanuatu. We know most of the brokerages, the offshore ones, go for Marshall Islands or other jurisdictions. Why Cook Islands? What do they have?
Well, the reason for the business in terms of the offshore was partly regulatory, but we talking to our clients and talking to our introducers and our partners, we saw a major change in MiFID in terms of leverage and certain other things that were required. So being ahead of the game, we started to look at how we can still complete and do the things that we need for our clients. So we did a lot of research and a lot of planning and looking at the different jurisdictions. And I said, the mandates in certain countries were not as good. So that's why we went for the Cook Islands. I mean, we have a physical presence there. Our compliance team is there.
That is very important.
Our staff, our back office, all of our support team are based out of the Cook Islands. So in terms of the regulatory requirements, it's very strong as well. They come from a trust background. So in the last 5 or 6 years, there's been a lot of pressure in terms of the island to meet the global requirements for compliance.
Very nice. And what are the obstacles compliance is currently facing? Just give me a few. Just give me a few. The strongest ones, the biggest ones, because I know what compliance means, and I'm sure now our listeners do as well.
The compliance issues are not things that actually customers and clients actually want to know about. So our job is to streamline that and make sure we're doing what we're doing on the backside of things, but constant monitoring, the changes in the rules. And I think what's happened the FCA of the UK used to be the global, what everybody used to follow. And with the fallout of Europe and Brexit, that's causing a lot of ripples across the whole of the financial investment, because what used to happen is all the bodies used to follow what used to happen in the FCA.
Yeah.
Now what's happening, they're all having to adapt and do their own thing, but still having this global compliance. So for us, it's the monitoring requirement and the changes in regulation on a monthly basis is the biggest thing.
Huge amount of work.
Yeah,
huge amount of work behind the scenes.
More people on compliance than is probably actually required.
Right, now talking about compliance, the documents are part of compliance of the back office job.
Yes.
Tell me, please, why do you need documents from clients? Because I know everyone is asking that question. Why do I have to send my documents? Why do you need my documents? Why do you need documents from clients?
So we touched on this a little bit earlier, and the whole point about compliance, there's sort of two areas. The compliance is about the typical against money laundering, financing of terrorism, but the key bit is about who are we doing business with? Are you the person that you say you are that we're doing business? And the only way we can do that is by getting some documents and then validating them. You know, your first part is to provide us those documents, but then we use, you know, the fraud prevention and compliance. We use databases. We use other protection methods, which obviously I don't want to share here to allow people to stop.
That's why it's called compliance.
That's why it's called compliance. So that area is then to validate who it is that we're talking to. It covers off the compliance, but also protects you as an individual user, that your data, your documents are not being used elsewhere.
Fair enough.
The client.
No, I'm asking because I've met many people that were a bit scared of sending their documents in my 10 years of career in the financial markets, and everyone that was scared to send the documents always faced a lot of issues when it came to withdrawals, and they couldn't understand why the company wasn't releasing their money without the documents and so on. Do they have any reason to be scared of sending the basic documents, the proof of ID?
It's kind of twofold. If you're sending your documents to an unregulated company, then yes, you might be a little bit scared, because the point of being regulated and the way that we have oversight from a regulator that says we have to have certain security protocols in place. So part of those is that who has access to that data. When you upload that data, is it secured? Is it backed up? And then within the support and back office team, who has to, can they download that data? No, we have certain security protocols that are governed by the regulator and checked and validated to make sure that nobody has access to that data.
So everything is highly encrypted, basically.
Yeah, encrypted, secured, protected. So there should be no issues with you sending your document.
Man, to be honest with you, and with you guys, I wouldn't have any issues sending my proof of ID and proof of address to anyone. If you manage to do something with that, knowing how strict the banking world is right now, or even my card, man, even if I don't have to cover the first 12 digits on the front of the card and just show the last 4, there's my card, use it. You know, if I can't use it, I wish you the best of luck if you can use it.
I think, yeah, that's the way to look at it. You go to any financial institution now, you go to a bank, you go to it's a common standard now and a requirement to provide documents.
Because I know in terms of anti-money laundering, there's a global directive to all financial firms to ask for 3 documents when it comes to money.
Yeah.
Proof of ID, proof of address, and a proof of payment covering the first 12 digits and the CVV on the back.
Yes.
That's it, as simple as that. Again, guys, you don't have to be scared. Obviously, you have to make sure the company you're dealing with has a trading license, which can be found usually at the bottom of the website. So when you go on a website, just scroll all the way down and look for a regulation, a registration number, see where those guys are operating from, okay? Then just send your documents. You have no reason to be scared to send your documents.
Absolutely.
A lot of bad reviews in previous companies that I worked for, because, you know, every company has bad reviews, no matter how good you are. Even McDonald's has bad reviews.
It's how you deal with those bad reviews and how you respond to them. I mean,
a lot of the bad reviews were coming from customers complaining they cannot withdraw. And the company was explaining them, please do send me your documents so we can process the withdrawal request. Yeah. Otherwise, the company is risking a massive, massive fine. Is that right?
Yeah, in certain cases and certain values, and certain countries have additional requirements. And I mean, we touched on this on a private conversation, and it is about, we have a requirement to send funds back at the same method that they were sent.
Yep.
And certain have secondary, third degree protocols to make sure the anti-money laundering and those kind of things. So it's not necessarily us in terms of the delay. And the clients do need, occasionally, depending on which terms, they do need to provide additional information. So, but we've always, from a customer service point of view, we have a support team that are constantly 24 hours a day that are like, well, we're talking to you, we need this, we need that. And I think that's where customers these days are being, they're frustrated, or we're frustrated. And therefore, but we need to explain a little bit more about the complexities of what's going on in the world right now. And
regulations are
it's probably a webinar for another day about the discussions of regulation.
True. I don't want to go too deep into it, guys.
No.
We will have a special webinar about regulation.
But documents, yes, documents are now an important part of
so nothing can be done without documents, basically.
Pretty much.
All right. So now you got it, guys. Send your proof of ID, send your proof of address, especially if you're working with a regulated company. Yeah, nothing bad can happen. Now let's move on. A very common question from clients is, why can I deposit, because we're on the topic, why can I deposit so fast, and why does it take so long to withdraw my funds? How long does it take usually?
Okay, I mean, it all comes down to which method of payment in terms of how quick is a deposit. I mean, we have a lot of technology involved that our CRMs and our banking links to the banks, but it's not always about us. It's about how fast. I mean, we work 24/7, but unfortunately, some of the providers out there don't work 24/7.
Yes, true. They have very cushy jobs.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to work in a 9 to 5 role, but it does come down to some of the providers that we use. And yes, so we were always quick in terms of our 24-hour support to make sure we're processing their payments, because it's not about. It is. You want to get trading, you want to get trading as quick as possible. It's there, you've got an opportunity and you want to take it. So that's the deposit to take the opportunity. So it is important to deposit as fast as we can to make sure you're capitalizing on that opportunity that you've got.
You might be in a margin call. I mean, touch wood, you might be in a margin call.
You shouldn't be, based on our education side of things, but yes, you could be in a margin call. Boom, boom, boom. You need a deposit. So that's the area. And you mentioned, in terms of the withdrawal, that's where the comment. I mean, we will process a withdrawal in 24 hours. Typically, we will process a withdrawal within an hour. The issue is like, imagine you've gone into a shop in the UK, you've gone to somewhere, I can't mention any brands.
All right.
But you know what it is, you go somewhere, you go to a hotel, you make your purchase and you get your refund. That refund can take, on a credit card, can take anywhere from 3 days to 7 days, 14 depends, because sometimes they batch them, the relevant card. So we have no control with the credit card companies as to how fast we can get those funds back into your account. The only thing we can do is
release the funds as soon as possible.
And show you that, look, here's our process to the card, it has been processed. We are transparent. As part of the company, we will show you the document that has been provided by us, by the code, show that it's done. If it's a wire transfer, we're restricted in Europe. Most wire transfers now are within 24 hours. So we know if you've deposited by a wire transfer, you will be credited within 24 hours. If you're depositing from an international bank account, most banks and transfers now are
3 to 5 working days.
3 to 5 working days.
Yeah.
So pretty much the withdrawal is always dependent on the method that you deposited and it was convenient for you.
Fair enough. So we're looking at withdrawals being released immediately by the company, and it usually takes 1 to 2 to 3 days.
We quote on our website that withdrawals are processed within 24 hours. So typically that is within 20 minutes to an hour. With a 24-hour team, we can process those.
I'm with you. Now, very important and tricky question. What would you say makes 4xCube different from any other brokerage? Go on.
Yeah, this is always that thing, isn't it? Why should you come to us and not to anywhere else?
Exactly, because that is the question.
There's hundreds of brokers, there's thousands of brokers. So for us, it is about being a true STP broker, straight through processor. We put your orders, we have no dealing desk. And effectively, our business model relies on the success of our clients. So we need you to be trading, we need you to be making money for us to make money. If you're not making money, we're not making money, which is why we invest a lot in terms of the education, the seminars. I think if you look at the brokerages, they're just constantly with sales guys on the phone and get you a deposit. you'll see that there's a pattern there that actually they're not interested in you creating wealth and planning for the future.
Very interesting insight, guys. Very interesting insight.
Which is where also the transparency of the company. You know, you've got like myself, the CFO of the company. I'm sat here doing an interview to show you who we are. We're not faceless. You've got a meeting and a schedule next week to show John Montero. So we're not a faceless business. So the transparency that comes across in that should give you confidence in who you're dealing with within ForexCube.
That is spot on. Now, what is the next step for ForexCube? What is coming? Because I know you got something cooking in the Cook Island.
We're something cooking in the Cook Islands. Right. We're always looking at ways to look after our clients. There's a lot of global change in regulation in terms of having presence in certain countries. So apart from the standard looking at the head of the curve, like we did in terms of MiFID and the leverage, we're looking at different jurisdictions right now to make sure we're looking after our clients. But immediately, some exciting news right now is coming in the next couple of days. We do have a major trading competition coming.
Okay.
Some major prizes. Not saying much, but it is going to be an electrifying competition.
All right, tell us more. I want to know more. You got me curious about it.
10 big prizes, 10 winners.
10 prizes.
10 prizes.
10 winners. Come on, let's sell it to them. So 10 big prizes, 10 winners,
10 months.
10 months.
10 months.
10 months.
Minimum deposit, 500.
Solo.
To
qualify.
500 to qualify.
Right.
Trading. You can have up to 10. If you're feeling confident, you can have up to 10 accounts. But some major prizes.
Right. Okay. I see you don't
want to disclose. I don't want to disclose, but they do involve wheels.
They do involve wheels.
They've got wheels on these prizes.
Go-karts.
A little bit bigger.
Bigger than a go-kart.
Yeah, powered by electric.
All right. Now, guys, next Tuesday, same time, same place, we're going to have Joao Monteiro, the CEO of ForexCube, in the studio. He will tell us what this competition is about, what these go-karts are about. Okay, something bigger than a go-kart, smaller than a car. It's a bird, it's a plane. What is it?
It's definitely not a bird.
All right, so join us next Tuesday to hear about the offer. Now, I want to touch up on customer support, because I know your customer support was awarded. I know you got a few awards last year.
Some are here. I mean, we
I love this one. This one looks like an Oscar. This is lovely.
We picked up 2 of that for best execution.
Best execution.
And also new global award, newcomer. So as last year we entered the market, and that was a very good award. Also best customer service, best execution for the finance awards, and then a more recent award here on customer service.
Another
customer
service.
You can see the element of this is it is all about customer service for us.
Right. How about this year? Anything coming this year? Any nominations?
Yeah, obviously the awards aren't finalized yet. We're now heading into the summer, where the summer into the August time and the late periods where so we're nominated right now for 3 awards. We've got the Global Brand Awards, and again best execution broker.
You are doing a great job with this STP thing.
Yeah, I mean customer service is at the forefront of everything that we do.
That would have been my next question. How important is customer support for a business?
As we said earlier on about, businesses get complaints, and it's all about, we're not perfect, but it is about how we deal with those complaints and what have we done and how to deal with them. So we look at Trustpilot, we take those, and when we have a response time is less than an hour to respond to complaints. We look at
sometimes within seconds, because I did type some questions a few weeks ago, and I got an answer straight away.
So customer service is not just for our industry. Customer service is important in any business, any industry. You don't take your customer service importantly. I mean, restaurants, you look at online retailers, you look at any industry, customer service is the most important part that defines your business. You can have some of the best products in the world, and you have one bad review and you don't handle it, it could kill your business.
Sure.
So to us, it's not just about, that batting that back. It's about how do we improve ourselves.
And we have two types of customer support in 2020. We have the robot that keeps asking you to type questions, and you have the human interaction. Which one do you prefer more?
Live. Everything is always
human
live.
interaction, isn't it?
There's nothing that we do in terms of our customer service AI. You are talking to a real, genuine person, either if it's on a phone, if it's via email, or it's via live chat.
So you're not a big fan of, because I know artificial intelligence is a good thing, and many companies are using it, but you're not a big fan of using artificial intelligence in customer service.
I don't think it's clever enough yet to be able to give that personal touch. That being able to talk to somebody, you're never going to lose. And I think that's the most important part of that connection between a business and the client. You start to introduce AI to that element of the business and you lose touch with the client. You can get a feeling for how something is from how a client has actually responded verbally than how they might come across on an email. So no, I'm very anti-AI in terms of the customer service. Yeah, it needs to be.
All right, so you love human interaction.
Yeah.
Right, talking about that, I think you told me earlier on, what's the average response time for the industry, and what is 4xCube's response time in terms of customer support?
Yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily just look at the industry. I mean, the industry,
30 seconds to 2 minutes, somewhere there.
Typically, you would expect. I mean, take myself personally. If I've not been answered within 2 minutes, I'm like, oh, so this company's not really appreciative of its customers. Yeah, you take in, high volume times and so forth, but 2 minutes is an industry average that you would expect.
And where do you situate yourself?
We currently right now on our stats that we monitor on a regular basis, we sit in under 30 seconds to respond.
Well done.
Respond to a client.
Responding below 30 seconds to a request brings you not only prestige, but also awards.
Yeah.
Because people are measuring your response time, aren't they?
But again, coming back to what we said earlier on, it's about timing. It's about that fast paced. If you don't respond to me after 2 to 3 minutes, the industry is that bang, we'll go somewhere else. They want to make decisions, and they're making decisions there. And some of the times people make decisions at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's not about our time, it's about when they're ready to make that decision. So you need to be absolutely on top of that. Absolutely.
Awesome. Now, give us an example of the most frequently asked questions. What is the biggest issue 4xCube clients are facing?
I wouldn't say it's an issue. I mean, the questions we get asked, typically like anybody, how can I deposit? So that's not an issue. They just want to understand, we deal in so many different regions, from the Brazilians to the Asians to the European markets. They've all got their controls and restrictions in terms of how you can deposit, which methods. So typically, those are the kind of, because a lot of people do their research now. They go through the website. It's very transparent as what we do, how we are, and then the general questions on the live chat is, how do I deposit? Do you accept this? Do you accept that? How do I do my withdrawals? So it's not kind of issue.
Is my money safe? Yeah, do you get that question?
Yeah, that is actually a question. Funny enough, later on down the line, it's not the first response. It's like they've asked them how then how. So, I mean, that comes back to the regulatory side of things in terms of the safeguarding of clients, the segregation of clients. That's why we get checked every 3 months from a regulator in terms of how our clients' funds managed. That then proves that those funds are in the market from a STP point of view. So those questions are always secondary as opposed to, that's it, how do I deposit? Which is a good sign.
Yeah, it means your marketing is doing a great job.
Our live chats are not about what issues they have. It's general, normal people's responses, or how do I do this? How do that? I'm from this country. And sometimes people are lazy and they don't actually want to read the website. So we have to have that verbal conversation with them.
Talking about that, do you always read the terms and conditions when you're about to do something that's not worth a huge amount of money?
I would say no, personally. I would say no, personally, but it comes down to trust and, have you read certain things? There are certain elements that you do need to read and take care of, but because the website is so transparent at every stage that you go through and every bit that you do, it's there right in front of you, and you click through and do the things that you do. So we have never really get any questions about that side of stuff.
Right. Two more questions, okay? One of them is, can you tell me what the STP model is? Why are you different than many other brokerages? How is straight-through processing working for
Okay.
XQ?
So without getting too technical on
Yeah.
the market making necessarily, effectively straight-through processing means that we take your order and it literally goes to a liquidity provider and straight through to the market. We don't touch it. We don't have a dealing desk. We don't say, actually, I think that was a bad decision you just made. We put that straight through. And then we have no control over that order. That goes, somebody either buys or sells against you, and then it then comes back into your platform. This is what happened. You made, you didn't, you lost. And
so as a company, you're basically making money on volume because you have no dealing desk. You don't get involved, and the order goes from the client straight to the market through your trading platform. And you're
which, by the way, we do offer some of the lowest commissions on trading.
I know you do. I know you do. Only $3 per lot, guys.
So we're not going to lie. It is about the volume. We need, as I said, we come back to our mission. Your success is our success. So the education, coming back to the STP model is a very hard model to run. So the transparency of the business and the confidence we provide to the clients is very important.
I would say an STP model is easier to run than a market making model just because you have no dealing desk.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you don't get involved. And in terms of reporting, I think the reporting of an STP brokerage is much lighter than a market maker's.
You would think so. From a compliance point of view, no, it's all the same. But the point is that the regulator can see that. The client funds, the safety. The STP model means that the client funds are safe in terms of a broker doing something. And on top of that, being an offshore broker, what we did to add some confidence to the clients is we actually took out additional insurance that is the equivalent of what you would get on a European broker. So we have a 20,000 euro deposit protection.
Investor compensation fund.
Investor compensation fund like you would get in Europe. So because of the confidence we have, we have that insurance as well through the financial company.
I was about to ask you about the investor compensation fund because I know in some offshore jurisdictions doesn't really apply.
No, it doesn't, because there's only European brokers that have that.
But you guys do have the...
We have investor protection, yes.
All right. Are you planning to acquire more licenses to move closer to Europe with time?
Yeah, the reasons we're looking at those is because regulations is becoming a lot more difficult in terms of doing business and onboarding clients from certain regions. It doesn't matter about their choice about the broker that they choose. It's the country that the client sits in is forcing that regulation. So we talked about earlier on about the jurisdiction issues and compliance issues. Those are some of the issues that we're facing. Clients don't want to know about that. They just want to know, can I deposit it? Can I get on with my money?
Am I making money? Am I not making money?
It just gives some of the clients a little bit of an understanding of the reasons why you have these onshore and different licenses. It's because we're trying to attract clients, and unfortunately there are regulatory issues that we have to do. So yeah, right now we're looking at some licenses in Europe.
Coming closer to Europe, just to keep everyone happy, basically, because no matter how happy people are, you will still have some unhappy people somewhere.
Absolutely.
So you're trying to just keep everyone
happy.
All right. So far, you're doing a great job. I've been following you guys since the day you launched.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you earlier on, I think I was your first.
August 2018, 17? Yeah, 18.
A few years ago, and I remember your first post, and I was like, oof, another offshore jurisdiction.
Yeah.
But today, I ended up interviewing you. I ended up working with 4xCube. I ended up interviewing the CEO of 4xCube. So it is the real deal, guys. Yeah, it is a true STP brokerage that has one of the smallest commissions in the industry. Only $3 per lot in and out. Obviously, terms and conditions apply. So far, they're doing a great job. They're being nominated for many, many awards. Also, this year, they will hopefully, I'm very confident you will get another award. Considering what's going on in the world, you guys are doing a great job. And even if the world would be a perfect place, you would still do a great job.
That's what we're trying to do.
I worked in over 20 brokerages in my 10 years of career, and what I see here, I like. Okay, I like your approach. I like your marketing. They got fantastic marketing, guys.
We have a great marketing team.
Some people would call them geeks. Some people would call them professionals. They are really good at what they do. I worked with them for a few days. I watched them doing what they were doing, and they are doing a great job. Now, John, do you want to add anything else? What would be your closing statement for 4xCube? What would you like to add?
Yeah, I mean, right now, we touched on earlier about the global crisis, what's happening, and so forth. But this is not about us as a business. This is about the decisions that our clients are making, that everybody out there is making. There's opportunity out there. Don't think because of this doom and gloom that's going on in the world, we've always been about positivity. We get the stresses and issues within running a business and doing what we do. And it's not about like, oh, da, da, da. It is about positive. Everybody needs to be positive and look for all the advantages that are out there. Of all the brokerages out there, I'd say we are an advantage above everybody else. It makes everybody different in terms of that we are looking for you to make money and for us to make money. So as a closing, ForexCube is your broker.
All right, that was it. Right, guys, this was it from our side. Another great interview. Join me next Tuesday to see João Monteiro again in the studio with a great news. Apparently, they're launching a huge competition with huge prizes.
Did I let that slip?
Yes, you did. You didn't want to tell me. Okay, so it has wheels, has something to do with go-karts. If you want to find out more, join me next Tuesday, same time, same place, for another fantastic webinar. Now, this was it from our side. John, thank you ever so much for being with us today.
This is brilliant.
I appreciate the courage. I appreciate the transparency that another staff and someone from the management of the company has nothing against going public and being transparent and saying things the way they should be said. So thank you ever so much for being with us today, guys. Remember to trade responsibly and make all your trades be in the money. John Goddard and Andrew the Chart Whisperer, over and out.